Alright, so today I want to show you how to calibrate a dirt pan FieldForm system. This is on version 16.00 software. This is a evolving system, so that firmware will go up or down depending on how the software works, the progression of the software. So we have actually set this thing up, but we'll go through what's on the screen here, how to set it up. So first off, obviously get good power and ground to your system. If you don't have good power and ground, there's a myriad of problems that can happen. Power button's right back here. You can click it once to turn it on, and it will pop up to this page right here. So at that point, just hit Precision IQ. We'll come up to the Precision IQ homepage, and then just to set it up and go through a calibration here, be sure your center point RTK, your position, your receiver is hooked up. It's seeing it. You can tell that by right here. Here we got a 1260, which is a screen, a Nav960, which is the receiver on the bucket, and then the radio. That's all looking excellent. Next, we just go up to GNSS and just make sure that our correction source is on RTK, Trimble external radio, and then we hit setup here and make sure our network ID is the same as our base station. So all of this is good. We should see a fixed here if our implement is set up correctly. This is just a single grade system, so we don't have any kind of auto steer. The screen is definitely capable of auto steer and a single bucket on version 16. That's not a problem. I've done it several times. So we do need to set up a vehicle profile. This here is a John Deere 8000R, 8320 to be exact, R, so 2010 to 2012 time frame, something like that. But this here is just some generic numbers that we put in here. Go through, set it all up correctly, and right here, receiver serial number, be sure that says none if you do not have a receiver sitting on the tractor. And then all of these are pretty generic, and we just go through and save it. Alright, once you have that set up, you hit your back button. Here's our implement. Here's where the magic happens. We need to get this correct. So 14-yard train, we got a set of I think Crabtree 14 yards, and I have set this up, but we'll walk through everything. So it's going to start up with asking you what kind of operation you got, and I have selected fill level and drainage. Our implement type, clamshell bucket, pick whichever one is the best suited for you. It's going to ask for a name, and I put as a train here because we do have two buckets. We only have one receiver controlling one bucket, but that's fine. Hitch is a drawbar, and then hitch to application point. That is important. It calculates on the calibration this distance, so you need to have this right. Go out and measure. Alright, application width would be how wide the blade is. Swath width again is how wide the blade is. Physical width would physically be more than that, but I always put that as the same. It's just one of the things that I do. It's not really necessary to be like that, but yeah. Blade to rear axle, and this would be if you had that bucket right behind the tractor, but since I have a bucket in between, I take the front bucket's wheel frame. So blade to rear axle is about 14 feet. And then the hitch is actually 2 foot behind the rear axle. Hit the right arrow, and we don't have any guidance available for this bucket, and that's meaning like a steerable axle. That is not meaning an automatic. Here's our water solutions. It's just a single receiver. At this point, this is all just default. This disengage raise is if you are automatic and grading in the field and you turn your automatic off. Do not hit your SCV remote switch. It will raise it up by however many seconds we have here. In our area, we use the SCV switch to turn the automatic off. So that function is not used ever. I just leave it on 0. Here is the receiver setup for the bucket, and I went through that a little fast here, but single receiver channel setup, we're just going to hit the wrench. It's going to pop us to this page. Now we select the receiver that's on that bucket back there. If there's another one in that list, that would mean you would have a second pan, which in version 16 is not supported, or it might be reading the one that's on the top of the cab that you may have for auto steer. Pick the one that you got on the receiver. The receiver orientation is important here, since that's a smart receiver, so be sure it's orientated correctly. Here again is our measurements from the blade to the bottom of the Nav960. This needs to be close to correct as you can get it. Tape measure works for that. Various other ways you can get that measurement, and then antenna left and right offset. If that receiver's on the side of your bucket, be sure it knows that. Our case, it's on the center. And then front and back, if that receiver is in front of the blade, be sure to mark it like that, or behind it. I'd like it directly on top of the blade. Green check mark, and then right arrow. Here's our valve setup. This is also important. Our valve output type is going to be height, and then here's the device serial number. That's the serial number that is assigned to your valve module, VM415 in my case. That's actually a 431 stamped on it, but it is recognizing as a 415. Be sure your valve type's John Deere DC, valve preset is John Deere, and then valve position, left or right. And this position is grayed out, so in version 16 you can't mess with that. Invert setup. If the blade goes up when the system commands it to go down, then you need to switch this invert to right or left, but that is correct for us. Attributes, that's all set when you do a calibration, and we are about to do a calibration. Here's our calibration wizard. So next we need to look down here at our tractor screen, and this is our menu in our tractor screen here. So we'll just get out of this, we'll go back home, and then we'll get back in it. So this is going to be the address and everything you will use for this small screen. The Gen 4, the later screen, is a little bit different than this video, but it's pretty close to the same. So we'll hit our menu button, we'll go to Message Center, we'll go to the G here, and we need to get in technician mode, so you press and hold G. And it is actually already in technician mode in this tractor. I think I just put it out of it, but we'll get it back in it. So you got to press and hold G, I think, for about 15 seconds. When you get the T to show up, that means it's in technician mode. All right, scroll around and get to the top address bar, and scroll down to SCC. Enter that menu, scroll down in that menu to 051. That is wrong. That is maybe one. Now I've got to go find it. I was just in it. It's 021 in these little screens. The Gen 4 screen is actually 176, and I believe the address here is SCC CAN controller, or something about CAN controller. Okay, so now we're going to get into that menu, and it's going to start a timer. Now we've got to click our remote down, and then hit calibrate, and then hit calibrate again. And once you hit calibrate again, then it should change your menu down here and reset the timer 30 seconds again before the GPS system will adjust it again. So what we're doing now is we are calibrating the GPS, how the bucket reacts to how much oil, or how the oil reacts, whatever you want to call it, to how much GPS the elevation. Basically, we're calibrating the elevation to the oil flow. Stay sitting in the seat. If you get off of the seat, the tractor's going to stop. The GPS is going to error out. But just stay in the seat until the implement this bar has come all the way across and it says calibration finished. Okay, so after the bucket has stopped moving, it will pop this up, height calibration complete. You just hit close and then save it, hit the right arrow and then save it again. Now if you see here, your calibration shows complete, raise and lower gains. Hit just save and then it should come back here to your implement page. Just hit your back button and you're ready to go. Over here on the tractor, you just go hit the home button over here on the console and it'll ask you, do you want to keep diagnostics running or close it? And I just hit close and then you should be back on your tractor screen. Now your automatics, you need to be sure that your check box is checked and then your auto has a slash through it. Now if you want to check and make sure your bucket is working correctly on auto, then you need to click the remote forward to get the slash out of it. You come back over here on your Trimble screen, you hit the lightning strike, you hit find water solution and valve diagnostics, and then sitting still you'll be able to see this little tick mark go up and down on the John Deere screen. So if you look at the John Deere screen, I am pushing the raise and the lower button on the raise and lower over here on the Trimble, and the little tick mark is going up and down. That tells you that the automatic is connected to the tractor. Okay, so under valve diagnostics here on the Trimble screen, if you see this right here, this line, if you just hit use defaults, this line's going to go from here to here, and if it's like this, then we know that it's calibrated. The valve diagnostics shows that you're connected right here, your real-time status. There we are. These numbers right here show that the valve module is connected. Alright, in the next video we will set up the field and set up a grade.